Welcome to Four Eyes, the podcast series that gives you a clear view into the optometry world across Canada and the US. We are your hosts. I'm Dr. Deepan Kaur.
I'm Dr. Amrit Bilku.
I'm Dr. Ravinder Randhawa.
And I'm Dr. Alex Kuhn.
So
Yay!
this is a really special, I guess, episode or IGTV for us because it is officially our 1 year anniversary since we started the Four Eyes Optometry podcast. I don't know. We absolutely did not think we would make it this far and connect with as many people as we have. But I honestly thought after the first 3 episodes we recorded, we were going to be like, all right, that's a wrap. We tried it. Time to pack it in.
I honestly thought we'd get like slapped.
Old college try.
Yeah. But no, I think, we've come a long way and I'm surprised at how consistent we've been. I think that's what surprised me the most. But I feel like it's also because we miss each other every week and want to hang out because it's just so much fun for me personally hanging out with you three. So yay.
Yeah, I can say we all feel the same. And yeah, I am surprised that our consistency has been pretty regular with the fact that we are all in totally different time zones right now. I think all of our guests that we've interviewed on the podcast understand how late we have to record because of Alex.
Yes. But it's still sunny here. Well, by sunny, it is a snowstorm right now. So, but
it's like pitch black here.
Pitch black here too.
But we wanted to celebrate our 1 year anniversary by making a very special just IGTV series. So this episode is not going to be available on our podcast platforms. You're only going to be able to find it here and on our website. So make sure you listen to the whole thing because we're going to be making a very special announcement pretty soon. And then we're going to be basically celebrating by reviewing some of our favorite episodes and just kind of reflecting back on what we were feeling through those episodes or what was going on behind the scenes, just to kind of celebrate. But it's not really a happy hour, which it should be, because no, why aren't we drinking?
I got some cherry lemonade.
Memo.
I have some sparkling water in here. It's almost done.
Literally just have water right now. Some hot water.
No.
Been on the edge with some hot water.
Yeah.
Have air.
Have air.
Rav's not drinking
always
anything
good to have.
at all. Rav's gone rogue. She's like, no drinks for me, y'all.
We can get started, I guess, with our special announcement. We want to make it official here. You guys, some of the listeners may or may not have noticed that our episodes are now also available on the Defocus Media Network, which is a huge accomplishment for us. We were really surprised and shocked, like always, that people reach out to us and are impressed with our work because we're never impressed with ourselves. And, we're really excited to be a part of Defocus Media. Our podcast is still true to who we are. It's still going to be available on our Instagram, on our podcast page, on our website. But now, we want to be able to reach out to more listeners and more people. So it is going to be available on Defocus Media. You can listen there, you can listen here. And we're just excited to be working on their team. They're such wonderful people, Dr. Glover, Dr. Lyerly, and Dr. Cyan. So yeah, we're just really excited. And we hope that we can just continue to grow more and more with your guys' support and Defocus Media support. So look out for us on their Instagram as well and their podcast.
Yeah, so we also just want to give a really special shout out to all our listeners as well. I mean, we wouldn't, have the motivation to record all our episodes without you guys. And, you guys are such a great community, so supportive. All your feedback, we read every comment and we try our best to respond to everything. And again, we always say, if anyone has a suggestion or an idea for an episode, we will try our very best to incorporate that into our podcast because we're doing this for you guys. We want, everyone to learn and, you guys are part of this community too. So you just want to say a big thank you to all our listeners too. You guys are a huge part of who we are. So
Yeah.
Without you guys, we would just have no one to listen to.
Yeah.
Just
Nobody
us
would
three.
listen to us. It would just be us four.
Yeah.
We just
Or
listen
us
to each
four.
other.
We would have 4 listeners and we would have 4 followers. That's it.
Yeah.
And we are, we really want to thank all of our listeners eventually one day by hopefully doing a nice giveaway once we can all afford to have a giveaway. So, we're not
We're being honest.
guys. Yeah, we are brutally honest on our podcast. We don't have the money yet to do a very fancy giveaway. We don't want to do like a $5 Starbucks card just yet. So but anyways, so we're really excited to announce that to you guys because we've worked pretty hard on this podcast to put ourselves out there. So it's really nice to know that we're appreciated and recognized by such a huge podcast platform like Defocus Media. So we're excited to do great things with them. And now we can kind of go back into our time machine and just do a quick review about some of our favorite episodes or some of our informative episodes. And I think Deepon's going to start us off with our most listened to episode number 1, Blue Light Filters.
Our first episode we ever recorded turned out to be our most popular episode.
Yeah.
So
and the most relevant right now.
Yeah. We still pretty relevant. So this is episode 1. Blue light filters, do they really work? I don't know. I felt like that first episode, like, even though it was our first one, I'm really proud of us. Like, I think we still sounded really professional.
Yeah.
Real, like, intelligent.
It only took us like 4 hours to record though.
I know. Yeah.
Nobody really knows that how long is this episode? 35 minutes. It took us a good 4 hours to record that episode. And I think it took another 36 hours to edit the footage. But that episode, it's so funny that it's so relevant right now because everyone is exploding about this new study that came out about blue light filters and how the blue light filters versus placebo did not improve digital eye strain. I think our episode when we did it the first time was pretty much emphasizing the same thing. We found a lot of studies that did not prove that blue light filters reduced eye strain, but we know that there's a connection between our sleep cycle or our circadian rhythm with blue light filters. So ever since we recorded that episode, I have actually changed the way that I encourage patients to purchase blue light filter lenses. So even though I was pretty negative about those filters in the episode myself, I really started to look over the research that we had. And I truly believe now that they do affect our sleep cycle. And then, of course, without blue light exposure, if you don't sleep well, you're not going to feel well the next day, right? And so I think people are associating blue light exposure to eye strain and headaches and fatigue. But if you're not getting if you're getting a disrupted, night's sleep and you're not getting a proper sleep cycle, you're going to feel those things regardless. So now I've really encouraged my patients to purchase the filters to prevent mood swings and irritability and to prevent fatigue from lack of sleep. And I think that's really been helping my patients to understand why we want to promote blue light filters rather than telling them it's going to get rid of your headaches and your eye strain.
Yeah, I think I prescribe it more for patients that do a lot of late night work on their computer. I'm like, well, if you're really interested in the blue light filters, if you're working till like 1 or 2 a.m., I would just slap on some blue light filters so it doesn't disrupt your sleep cycle. And then maybe it'll be easier for you to go to sleep. But, if they're just looking to, like what you were saying, Amrit, if they want to alleviate the eye strain, the focusing problems that they're having, the headaches, then I'm like, there's a multitude of other things you can do that might help with that versus paying for blue light filters. So that's how I pretty much go about it.
And I feel like with times like these, everyone's working from home. And the biggest thing is eye strain that people are coming to office are complaining about. And a lot of people are doing their own research and are saying, hey, like I want the blue light filter, or people are seeing some videos on TikToks where people are promoting the blue light filter glasses, or they're like, oh, on Amazon, they're so cheap. Can I just get those? And like at the end of the day, all you can do is just educate your patients, be like, hey, like this is what the pros and this is what the cons. And like a lot of the time it's all subjective too. Like some people find a big difference. Some people, oh, it doesn't do anything to me. And I always tell them to tell them like nowadays, like the technology is so smart. Like you have all these options on your phone, your computer that automatically turns on the night mode, which cuts down the blue light that you can just use as well. Or just the most effective, simple, the 20-20-20 rule. That will go a long way than these blue light lenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been telling everyone to like increase their working distance. And then I don't know where I got this idea, but then like I think about 2 weeks ago, ever since then, I've been encouraging my patients to connect their laptops to their TV screens. Because I'm like, if you're working from home or you're doing online learning, I mean, you can sit on your sofa and AirPlay or use the air display thing where you mirror your laptop screen onto your TV, because everyone's TV screen is going to be at least probably 6 feet away or more. And then you still have your keyboard because your laptop's still with you. So you can literally just type and work and use your Bluetooth mouse or your wireless mouse that you have on your sofa and look at your TV screen all day. Because at the end of the day, we can't avoid screens. It's part of our life. And so now I tell my patients, we just have to find ways to navigate around this issue rather than getting rid of it.
Remember when we used to stream our KMK videos
on the
when we're studying for boards? It makes a difference. It feels like you're watching TV and not really studying.
Yeah.
But you're still.
I would do that with lectures too.
Yeah, I would do that with
lectures. I put lectures up there.
I feel like it would be harder if you're like typing or writing a report or doing like working, because you'd be like, I feel like it would be so far that you'd be typing and you'd be like, wait, what just happened? You'd be looking at your laptop anyways, or you're like, what am I doing? So but yeah, for like I think for students and stuff, for those who are doing like lectures or watching videos, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. One of the next episodes that we wanted to review was an interview that we did with Dr. Steve Vargo on his book, Prescribing Change. And so we interviewed him about his method of how to prescribe change and connect with our patients when we're doing our management plan. And I think Deepon picked this episode again to review because this was a really good one for you.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked this episode in general, because I feel like it was one of our first episodes where we really talked about how we can better connect with our patients in terms of building a better relationship with them. Because I think one of the biggest things I learned about optometry, that's really what optometry is. Like everyone has the same skills, right? But just being able to use the right language to talk to your patients, to educate your patients, to have some sort of approachable personality where they're able to ask you questions comfortably or tell you the vision issues that they're facing. Like, I think that's such a huge part of optometry. And then there's just not enough resources or information about it to teach other optometrists about how to go about those issues, right? Like, I don't even think we had anything like this in school, really. Like even during our
skills.
Just building people skills and being able to properly communicate. Dr. Steve Vargo really talks about that in his book and in this episode. And it just really resonated with me. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a great re-listen. So yeah, that's why I liked it.
Yeah. I think it's really important too to connect with patients, even though you might not have anything in common with them, like in general, that you have to learn how to talk with everybody.
Yeah.
in a
Yes,
way.
you have to be able to talk to your 3-year-old and your 83-year-old. Like
Yeah.
you have to have that conversation come very easily and very quickly and be
Yeah.
able to adapt your conversation to their lifestyle or what their interests are. And that's really hard. I'm not
It
surprised
is.
that, some people just don't have that because you're going to have to really practice a lot with your patients. And every conversation that I have with my patients, if there's a conversation that didn't go well, or it was an exam where there was no conversation between me and the patient, I always reflect on those after because I always
Yep.
think like, did I say something in the beginning that might have thrown the vibe off, or was there something that I just should have picked up on the patient to like ask more questions? So yeah, just always learning what wordplay you should use.
Yeah. But even like, I notice like some patients will come in and be like, this doctor told me this, and you'll say the same thing, but maybe in a different kind of energy or a different vibe. And they'll just be so thankful that you're helping them. But you did the same thing as the previous optometrist. And you're just like, I really don't know what exactly changed here, but it's all like your vibe, your energy that you're kind of putting out there. And I don't know. I think, optometry is a lot like optometrists really have to deal with so many different personalities. And that's one thing we're not really taught how to deal with in school. So yeah. And I think that episode kind of covers those details. So
Yeah,
which is
that's a
cool.
great book. Everyone should definitely look into purchasing Dr. Vargo's book because, yeah, it's just a topic that's not commonly spoken about in optometry. So you are going to have to put the extra step in purchasing and reading it yourself and learning yourself because no one's going to teach you that skill. Nobody.
And as I was saying, like when we are student clinicians, a lot of times we don't go over the plan at the end with our patients. It's always our attending that goes in, does the majority of the talking, and tells them what they should do, what their conditions are. So we just kind of stand back and just listen, and we never have that opportunity to talk. So when we're actually out in the field and we have to do that part, it feels there's a learning curve for sure.
Yep.
And you don't know if you're saying it the right way, and you don't know, are your patients actually nodding because they understand you, or they're just nodding.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that's one of the biggest thing I learned from that book is being able to communicate with your patients, even asking them back, like, hey, like, okay, what was not asking them like what did I say, but like,
do you have any
so
questions
like
about what I
do you have any questions? Like, do you want me to write this out for you? Because like with dry eyes, like you're telling them so many things to do. Sometimes they don't understand, especially your elder patients. So just kind of asking them, communicating them, or taking the extra step to be like, hey, like, would you like me to write it down for you?
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
So true.
And just taking that extra step, like people are so like thankful for that. Like you just taking like, oh, I'll figure this out for you. Let's figure this out together. And they're just like, oh my God, thank you. And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's my job, but
it takes like extra 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
That's a big difference with word of mouth marketing, right? Like you're branding yourself when you're treating your patients this way. Like I have had patients bring in all 3 of their kids, their husband, their mom, their dad after I've had an exam with one person. Because if they, if you make them understand their eye health and their health care and why, whatever you found at that eye exam, if you explain it to them, they'll bring everyone too.
And going back to kind of what Rav was talking about with the preceptors, I had one preceptor that I remember specifically, I think it was 3rd year, that they actually had me talk about the whole plan. And granted, it was so nerve-wracking, but it was so good having that practice because once you go in the real world, it is you.
Yeah.
And
that's so true.
So but like,
there should
of
be
course
more of
you're
that.
super nervous. Yeah. But with, you have your preceptor there, you have the patient there, and you're like, does this make sense? Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But
no. There was another episode that Deepon picked out to review. I feel like we'll just go through Deepon's list here.
I have so many, to be honest. And shout out to all the dry eye episodes because I love dry eye. So Dr. Richard Maharaj and Dr. Lori Perryman, listen to those 2 episodes too.
Oh yeah.
If you're really into dry eye. So they're really great at talking about the dry eye field. But yeah, so this next episode I wanted to talk about episode 30, how to add scleral lenses to your practice with Dr. Andrea Lasby. I really like this episode because I feel like, you know, when you interview someone and you want to get their expertise on a subject, people don't really get to the nitty gritty details on things. They kind of just say the overall picture and you're like, okay. But Dr. Andrea Lasby literally goes step by step by step on how to build certain things, how to do certain things, who to contact, what to do. I thought it was a really great episode in terms of that. But she also talks about how to charge for certain services. So if you're trying to build a specialty practice like myopia control, a dry eye practice, specialty lenses, whatever, this applies to anything. How she basically goes over how to specifically charge for your time. And I think that's one of the major questions that new grads or even seasoned optometrists have when they're starting something new. They're like, well, what should I charge? How do I do this? And she really breaks it down for you in that episode. So yeah, that's why I loved it too.
It was like a big confidence boost when she talked about pricing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone because if you're really interested to know how to charge for specialty services, definitely go to episode 30 and take a listen to that. But she's like a great motivator. It's like she just kind of yells at your face and goes like, "You're worth it."
Yeah,
Like,
and I think we forget like all the schooling and stuff we went through and how much our services are actually.
We underestimate ourselves. We
always, for sure. And in that episode, she talks about that. So
I agree with Deepon. Definitely take a listen to that one. Like I am not a scleral lens person. Specialty contacts, not my thing. Regular contacts, not my thing. But you know, with me, if I ever want to do vision therapy at my own clinic in the future, now I understand how to charge for VT and where the price is coming from, rather than just coming up with a random number based on, you know, competition within the area. Like that's not the way to go. But yeah, definitely listen to that episode. Listen to all of them, but go back and listen to that one when you need a boost in your career.
Self-esteem boost.
Yes.
Dr. Lasby's like in your corner going, ask for more. More. Like, you deserve more, girl. You deserve
Or boy.
Or boy.
You gotta pay off those loans somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
True. I picked out to talk about our job interview episode. So we did this episode way back in season 1 when we were babies doing the podcast. We did an episode just for new grads and students to figure out, you know, how do you look for a job? How do you prepare for a job interview? What to expect? A little bit on the contract and what to expect with that and the pay. I feel that this episode, we were just brutally honest, which is honestly one of our values and our themes for our podcast. We want to be brutally honest and we want to share the thoughts that are going through our mind as a new grad. So there's a moment in that episode when I re-listened to it, I laughed so hard because I think there's a moment in that episode where I'm asking Deepon and Rav, you know, like, what's the first question you ask the interviewer, you know, when you're looking for a job?
Also keep in mind, during this episode, Amrit was still doing her residency. So she's never applied to like like she never had a real job yet. Yeah. So it was just me and Rav just giving it to her straight up saying, well, this is what it's like. And you were shocked at her answer. I remember.
So Deepon was just like flat out like, yo, I just asked, how much am I getting paid? Like, that's it. I just need to know where's the money. Show me the money. That's it. And I just laughed when I listened to it again because I was like, you know, it's true. Like this is literally what's going through our minds. You know, we are professionals and we want to help out other people listening to our podcast, but we can't help people out if we're not being honest and telling them how we feel. And every new grad, no matter what you say, no matter what articles you're reading, it's true. New grads have loans on loans on loans. They haven't worked a real job in like 9 years, 10 years. They need money. And I think it's true. That's all we want to know. That's all.
Yeah.
Main thing that we want to know is how much are we getting paid. But there's a lot of good information in that episode for any current students or anyone who's looking to find a job during the pandemic. That's a really good interview. That's a really good episode to listen to, that goes way back and still applies today. And then I want to give a huge shout out to our happy hour episodes. So that's something, I don't know who thought of this idea or how we thought that we should do a happy hour, but it was
I think we were just like, how do we incorporate alcohol into our podcast?
Yeah.
And still be professional.
Yeah.
And then it turned into that. So
I think I had the idea because I found that article that was it was like a BuzzFeed article of what does your drink say about you? And then I was like,
oh yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah.
Pick our drinks and then go over who we are based on the drinks. But I think we can all say we love our happy hour episodes. All of our guests always ask. Dr. Maharaj is always asking when he's coming to happy hour. So it's definitely our real raw moments with each other. You get a real good look inside our relationship as the four of us together, how we are, how we shit on each other all the time and make fun of Rav all the time. But yeah, we're happy that we get to share that sort of an episode with you guys every couple of weeks. Yeah, I love those. You should listen to all of them. Everyone should listen to all of them because it's just a good episode to let your brain melt, calm down a little bit, have a drink, lie on your couch, and just relax with some optometry friends.
Yeah, those are definitely one of my favorites episodes to look forward to. It's not just, doesn't feel like I'm recording or anything. It just feels like I'm hanging out with my friends and
you
having
are
a nice
hanging out with your friends.
Huh? This is a little teaser of what happens in happy hour. I say something and then Deepon picks out and has to correct me, and then I lose my train of thought, and then there it goes, man. It goes downhill from there.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to bring. I was like,
That's
like hanging out different. Like, then what? What do you mean? Who?
I feel like this whole year I have seen you guys the most compared to any. I see you guys like once a week for like 3-4 hours.
Oh, I'm surprised. You know what? I will say I'm surprised our friendship hasn't broken after meeting
we can make it through 4 years of optometry school.
I think any like optometry students, I'll tell you one thing. I had in my first year, I think my first week, I had a third or fourth year tell me that in your first week of school, whatever friends you have, it's all going to change in your fourth year. And that was definitely true for me.
Pretty true. Yeah. Well, I guess because like we go through so many moments in optometry school that test us under pressure. We all have mental breakdowns. We all had nights of crazy laughing, screaming, crying, jumping, like gaining weight, losing weight, eating junk food, trying to eat healthy, failing, watching TV. Like there's just so many raw emotional moments that you go through in optometry school, and whoever is standing beside you holding your hand while you're going through that, that's a true friend. That's it. Yeah. And that's how you find out who your friends are in optometry school for sure. And I feel like all four of us were there through every emotional moment along the way.
The highs, the lows.
We've all seen each other's scary sides. So we were all like, oh, all right, I'm cool with that. If that's as bad as it's gonna get.
So true.
So my favorite, or one of my episode that I really liked from our last year was on new grad finance. So we had Good Age, he's from Canada, and then we had ODs on finance. So Dr. Aaron Newfield come on this episode, and we talked a lot about dealing with finance side of optometry. We talked about disability insurance, pension, just paying off your loans. So it's a lot we discussed in that episode. And I feel like I go back and listen to it sometimes too, especially when times like this, it's hard times and money is it's on
It's
everyone's
tight.
money is tight, yeah. And everyone,
Tight.
wants to grow and invest and
Yeah. I think for me, the number one thing about our new grad finance episode that I loved was that we were able to combine the answers for Canadian and American ODs and OD students. I think we really encourage everyone to listen to that episode because there are now resources not only for US optometry students, but now those Canadian optometry students that are either in the Canadian schools or in the US schools, but they know that they want to come back to Canada to practice. And that's what drove us to really start that episode because, for the Canadians on this podcast, we didn't find that much information that was applicable to us for our retirement options, our tax savings account options, and our insurance options. So, that's a great episode for everybody in North America to listen to.
And a lot of
Yeah.
doctors, ODs, are independent contractors or self-employed. So we talk a lot about that there too.
Mhm.
How do we pay for taxes? What's the best way to pay for taxes? And as a new grad, I had no idea. I was like, oh my God, man, maybe I'll just like pay at the end. So I think I learned to manage my money better and know what percentage of my money or my paycheck should go where. So
Mhm.
that way I'm not strapped for cash and I'm not losing my sleep over money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I think the last episode that we kind of wanted to reminisce about again, I think Alex chose this next one. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Our interview with Dr. Mick Croden, I thought really was interesting. I thought there was a lot of good tips in there, especially the FCC tip that we talked about with him. And he was just very entertaining. And I think he would be a great one, not only to watch on our episode, but also watch his TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's funny. I've actually started implementing FCC on all my patients now to provide them with a computer prescription for glasses.
Mhm.
And like, you guys really need to listen to that episode because it really does give you it gives you more insight as to how to encourage your patients to purchase a second pair of glasses, how to get them to understand why a second pair of glasses is important for them, especially if there's someone who works on the computer for hours and hours. So I will actually show them, especially for like my presbyopes or early presbyopes, I'll show them in a trial frame lens holder their reading prescription. That's for that 40 centimeter working distance. And then I'll flip it and show them the FCC result on an actual computer. So I'll have them sit at my stool and they actually see a significant difference, even if it's like a quarter or plus a half difference. So yeah, he changed my life.
Is what it boils down to.
I know. I love how
That's
that
what it
just
boils down to.
escalated from, oh, and then this happened, and he changed my life.
Changed my
y'all.
life.
He changed my life.
I mean, it's crazy how like such a small change in plus actually gives my patients a significant, and I mean like at least 75% of my patients have had a significant they feel a difference. They can't
Mhm.
explain it, but they feel a difference when they're on the computer. Yeah, so I thought that was a great episode.
Yeah, and
Little tidbits.
he's really
Yeah.
like what Alex said. He's very entertaining to listen to. He's a great speaker.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
say he's like one of our top guests. He's just funny and entertaining. So that was definitely a really good episode. Mm-hmm.
You know what episode I do want to give a shout out to before we end off is the episode that we did with Dr. Vafai about glaucoma and monitoring for progression, just because I love the fact that we were interviewing him and he started like questioning us and like giving us like a lecture on glaucoma. So it just, I don't know.
I remember that.
Yeah, like we were just so taken aback because we were like, oh, he's asking us questions. And it just shows how dedicated he is as a teacher. When he's trying to ask us questions about what we know on glaucoma, what we're thinking. And even though glaucoma is a very common disease, I just feel like we don't really talk about it too much on our podcast. And I just personally don't listen or hear about, information on glaucoma every day, even though I see it every day in my chair. So I think that episode with him was, I listened to it just a few days ago, and it was just such a great reminder on how to manage glaucoma, how to approach it, and how to monitor for progression. Because now, as new grads, now we're starting to make those follow-ups with our glaucoma patients, right? Versus, as students, we would see them for one follow-up and like never see these people again. So now we're starting to develop and establish like an actual follow-up plan and management plan for our glaucoma patients, which is really good.
He's actually very similar to Dr. Cameron McCrodin. Like he has a very vibrant personality, so funny, so fun to interview. Another top guest I would want to bring back on our podcast. He's incredibly funny and just very easy to talk to. And he's like a good talk show kind of guest.
Yeah. So that's everything that we had for you guys today on our special IGTV 1-year anniversary episode. If you made it this far, one more time, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting us. We keep saying it because we really do mean it. And to emphasize what Deepan said in the beginning, please DM us or message us. Let us know how we're doing. Give us suggestions. We listen to everybody's suggestions and we always message you back and try to get back to you. So just look out for more content every week. And I don't know. That's it.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.